How can you say you love God in which you cannot see, yet you cannot love who you can see? First, we are say that. We are say you have to love who you can see first, because who you can see is a manifestation of who you think you cannot see. That is really what it is all about. Who you can see is a manifestation of who you think you cannot see. There was a man in a village, say him really want to find God. He want to find the highest level of consciousness that you know about. So I'm going to go to some sage, some priest or monk, to tell him which part him can go, or what can he do to reach the level of what I call nirvana, heaven, blissfulness, utopia. Well, the first one I'm going to tell him, he must go down in another village, and he must see a lot of women, beautiful women, and them will satisfy all his desires and make him reach the nirvana, or what you call blissfulness. So him travel for days and go down to the village, walk up and whole heap of women, and after him done go through everything, him find out, said, no, him no find God, or where him a look for. Him no find the consciousness where him a look for. Him still have to find out now which part this consciousness there, which part this heights of levels, this what them call God, the Buddha, which part him there. So him start to ask a next sage again, and the sage say, all right, there's a war in a next village. If you go down there and allow the people them to win that battle, you will find the God that you're searching for. So him take him sword and all the things that were necessary for fight, and him go down in the village and fight in the war, and it's so happen that the village where I fight for win the battle. But when they win the battle and them win the battle, him realize say, but him no find where I look for. So him have to go find a next monk, priest or sage. And the monk tell him, say, all right, there's a mountain. When you look up there, you see almost like the clouds upon the side of the mountain. You're going to go up to that mountain, and in that mountain there's a cave. And you're going to go into the cave, and you're going to find a book. And that book will lead you to where you look for. The level of consciousness where you look for, you will find it in that book. So we're going to tell you the next part of the story after they had them. We're on the cutting edge. For those of you who just joined me, we was talking as a story, we was telling a story actually about a man who was searching for God, searching for that heights, that nirvana, that utopia. And we were saying that him passed through villages that was in war, and him helped them win the war, village with a lot of beautiful women. Him had him away with them. And now him find out one now, tell him, say, look here now, there's a mountain top that you have to go to. And there's a cave, and you're going to go in that cave. And you're going to see a book, and you will find what you're looking for. The thing is that him did have to go back through the village them, and him have to go back to where he was coming from originally. But him actually never come from the mountain top. He was right in the valley of the mountain. So him turn back, and it take him days to travel. He may be walk up on a place where is more riches that him could ever see. And the riches that where him could have say, even though him see the riches and realize him could have attained that riches, it still never give him that fulfillment where I look for, that God where I look for, that search where I look for. So him reach a mountain and him decides him going to go up the mountain, and him start to trek up to the mountain till him reach a cave. When him reach a cave, him go inside of the cave and him see the biggest book him ever see. Big book. Never seen such a large book before. And him say, okay, because you know I don't know how this is going to work because there's nobody here but me. And the monk did say, I'm going to find God up here. But how can I find God in a place where I alone is with a book? So him say, so him remember to say, he must open the book. So him got to know, and him decides him going to open the book. Him open the book to page 1. And what him see in the page was a mirror. And him said, this come like a game, you know. This come like a joke business. So him turn the next page and him see a mirror. And these 2 pages are reflect himself in it. And him keep turning the pages and all him say upon the pages was mirrors of himself, was reflections of himself. And him really try to figure out what the hell is happening here now, because how can this man send him on such a long journey to find a book with mirrors, the book of mirrors that only reflect him. And then him say a man coming out of a dark place. Where them look is see a monk. Where them tell him say must come to the mountain top, to the cave. And him say the book. And in that book him will find God. The sage come out, him look on the sage and say, what kind of joke is this? I've traveled so far, for days traveling on this mountain. And you told me that if I come to this book and open the book, I will find what I'm looking for. The monk looked upon him and said, you have found what you're looking for, but it's just because what you're looking for look like you, why you choose not to accept it. Because really and truly, the God that you're searching for is you. Yes, the mystery of God is always a mystery to man, even though it's man design all of the concepts and ideas. And him try to project it outside of himself and not recognizing that all him trying to do is find himself. All him trying to do is find himself. But sometimes searching for yourself carry you through different trials and tribulations, agony and pain, and sometimes joy and happiness too. We all search for that nirvana, that utopia, that never-ending bliss. But most of we grow up to search for it outside of ourselves. And we lose trust in ourselves. You know, sometimes them say, you are what you eat. I say, you are what you think. You are what you think. And sometimes your mind carry you in some places where your body can't ever go. But it's still you I go there. Because there's no mind in mind. So come back now to the first question where we ask. Suppose you're looking at a mirror, and when you're looking at the mirror, you don't see yourself. What would you think? Because we remember growing up, and we watch Dracula movie, like our Dark Shadows, for those of you who are like me, and Barnabas Collins, the Dracula. We always realize in reflection not show in a mirror. In reflection don't show in the mirror. And that's a scary thing. If you're a human being and your reflection don't show in the mirror. And then there is Medusa. Medusa the Gargan. For those of you who don't know about Greek mythology, I could tell you about Medusa. Medusa was a mythological woman who lived in a cave. And all her hair was snake. Snake in her head, just a grow up in her head, pure snake. Look like a locks. One of them thick up locks. But according to the mythology, it's snake. So this woman grew a snake in her head. And she live in a cave, and anyone will look upon her face to face, eye to eye, them turn stone. Anyone will look upon her face to face, turn stone. And this man, I don't remember what his name, him decide say, this woman is a terrible thing, she have to get rid of her. So I'm going to find out now, how can he get rid of this woman without him looking upon her? So I'm take him shield and him sword and go up in the cave, and next cave argument again. And next cave argument in the night, yeah. But this story is very important to the scheme of things. Because it's a kind of wisdom and faith and understanding that is not in the Bible. Because it's not only in the Bible we find things to live by. Even though we grew up in a society that make you feel that way. So, this man take him sword and him shield, and him decides him to kill Medusa because she is the reason of many men dying, trying to look at her and turn to stone. So I'm going to the cave now, and the woman come out, Medusa, the Gargan. I know you might have heard that word already, the Gargan. Man did a sing song already, but I am the Gargan in this time. Well, the Gargan is referring to that Greek mythological woman named Medusa. She's the Gargan. So, Medusa come out, and what the man did was so ingenious. Him take him shield and hold in front of him face. That when Medusa look upon the shield, she see her reflection, and guess what? She turned to stone. That is how him get rid of Medusa, the Gargan. Him just hold up the shield in front of him face, and Medusa look upon the shield and see her own reflection and turn to stone. No blood shed. She just turned to stone. Now, the argument is, I wonder if a person who don't see themselves in the mirror is really stone in them heart. Because no one looks in a mirror and don't see them reflection. And if you should look into the mirror and don't see your reflection, it means say, trust me, you do have no heart. You do have no heart. But because we know say, in every man's chest, there is a heart. We have to figure out now, why is it that we're behaving like we stone? Why is it that we're behaving like the mirror that we're looking at take away with spirit? Because some people actually believe that too. That's why them don't keep mirror in them house. Because them feel that the spirit of the human being exists in the mirror. Them don't want the mirror take away them spirit. In some places, amongst Aboriginal people, indigenous people, them don't like you take them picture. Because them feel say, when you take them picture, you take part of them. And them soul is very important to them. So, maybe, if you're looking at your mirror more often, maybe something with that joke you for say, but me no stone, me is human, flesh and blood, and me have a heart. And sometimes, when we behave harshly with people, and all these youth will run up and down over the place, them need to look in the mirror. So a man sing a song, Michael Jackson to be precise, say, take a look at the man in the mirror. Woe unto those who look in the mirror and don't see themselves. Because then you know, say, you are dead. Or you're on the cusp of dying. Becoming like a stone that do have no heart. And a whole heap of we walk around the place now. Like we do have no heart. Because all of we have a heart. All of we have a feeling. All of we think. No matter how cruel and wicked the thought is, but we think. And we recognize and understand that if a man look in the mirror and see himself reflecting, him should take a stock, because that reflection is God. Because if we go back to the old Bible, and the Bible said, God make man in his own image. An image is a physical manifestation of something that is tangible or touchable. An image is not something mysterious. An image, if a man make an image of something, it look like it's something that he make. Therefore, it's a manifestation of something else. But it replicate the something that him look on and make the image. So when it say God make man in his own image, it really I say man of God. Because the same way how I look is the same way how God look. And vice versa. And likewise it's true. If a woman looking at the mirror and see herself, she have to come to the conclusion and say, I am God. But only people want to accept that. Because them love to talk about God outside of themselves. That is really what them are trying to do. Them are trying to talk about God outside of themselves. And the only God that exists is the one that is you. And all the arguments surrounding that is created by man. All the arguments surrounding about who, what, where, when, why, how God is supposed to be what, is created by man. Even the understanding that when you're looking at the mirror is an image of God you look upon. Even that was created by man. So we have to recognize the purpose, or our purpose, when we look in the mirror. The man in the mirror, and to an extent the woman in the mirror, is the only manifestation of what we're searching for inside ourselves and in others. The man say, how can you say you love God in which you cannot see, yet still you cannot love who you can see? First, we are say that. We are say, you have to love who you can see first. Because who you can see is a manifestation of who you think you cannot see. That is really what it is all about. Who you can see is a manifestation of who you think you cannot see. So we have to draw up a belt and a buckle. And forget about all of the whole heap of this and the whole heap of that. And the frills and the chills that put around it. You know, here some people try to give them deity all the accolades and the this and the that, when you cannot make it greater or lesser than what it is. What it is what it is. It's just simple that what it is what it is. So when we look, according to the Egyptian book of the dead, or them call it the coming forth by day, to see the goodness in things, you have to see yourself in that thing. So make repeat that. To see the goodness in things, you have to see yourself in the thing. Because that is the only way you can recognize the I and I concept. There is no me and you, or them and us. It's I and I. reflection of self. If you want to make a change, take a look in the mirror and start with yourself. That is really what it's happening to, and we are sending a messenger straight out to the youth them out there who take the opportunity to listen to them hours and night, yeah. Even though the rain a fall too, you understand? I mean, no say you gone in your yard still because yeah, say you know when the police come go and angry, you know, we say they in your yard and turn on your radar and you say, Muta, come on, you know, I have to listen to him. You understand? So we just tell you, say, listen to what we are talking about because it might sound complicated, but it's a reality and it's a truth. And most of the times when we are quote the Bible, we are sure you say there's other things and other books where have certain mythologies and certain reasoning and consciousness that we can really grasp tonight because the majority of people them outside of the Western world. Yeah, the majority of people don't live in the West, the Western world. Because India and China have so much people there. You understand? And them people that don't use the book where we use to really come to the fullest understanding of self. So, we just say that as a by the way thing. But we know so we shall be released. We have to be released from a whole heap of things. Whole heap of things we have to get released from. We're there with you. Going through the places. We are trying to bring to your attention certain levels. You understand? Because it's not every day we get to do it, and not every day you get to hear something outside of where you're really used to. Because we have to define ourselves in this time, especially as African people. We are going around, it seems to make we kind of almost lose focus. You know, we have to continue to keep focus. A whole lot of distraction around you, where you make you feel like that more important. Make you lose focus. So we have to say, we don't want you to lose focus. Because if you lose focus, you're going to take your eye off of the prize. And we're talking about liberation and freedom. That is what we are talking about. That's all we are talking about, really. Liberation and freedom, we're not talking about nothing else. Because that is what we need. As African people, we need liberation and freedom. You know, and sometimes we make it look like we're free still. But I will probably don't know freedom because them put in a cocoon make you feel like say we're free. And really and truly, some like a Mickey Mouse freedom according to what Lucky do, but I say a Mickey Mouse freedom, you know, and we sup it up. Yeah, we sup it up. We sup it up in a way where it start to become our daily bread, our daily food. And we still find ourselves in the same position and situation. Truly free is much more than what we are experiencing now. Yeah, when you're free, it's much more than what you are experiencing. You know, we look at people say, well, we're free. What you mean? You know, to say we're free. You know, so we have walk up and down and attack. Yeah. That is where you think. That is where you think because you don't really know what is true freedom. How it is, how it feels to be liberated. Because that is how we get trapped. We get trapped in that argument of, yeah, you know, we can go here, so and go there, so and go here, so. And that is where we take as freedom. But you cannot imagine if you come out of the cave, which is the next story about cave again. You know, the people in the cave, for them realities in the cave, you know. And them living in the cave and feel them free. Of course them free, but them free as it relates to inside of the cave. When one man come out of the cave and say, but wait, there's things outside of the cave that we never experienced yet. I wonder if we don't know them story there. That's some serious story them, you know. The man them in the cave. Everybody in the cave. And that is the reality. The reality is what is in the cave. And once somebody come out of the cave and go see different life and come back, come tell them. And it's one rotted. Because like they try to take away from them freedom now by telling them, they say, something other than what them are experiencing at the cave exists outside of the cave. Much more than what them are experiencing at the cave is outside of the cave. And him become them enemy. Yes, him go experience something outside the cave and come back and tell them, and now him become them enemy. Who tell him to go tell them that? Because that is what our freedom look like. Our freedom is bound inside a cave. And you think that you're free. But the only reason why you think that you're free is because you don't know nothing outside of that confines, the confines of the cave. You don't know. You know, it's like a man in a prison and him get locked in him cell. And then him let out if you go in at the yard, go do certain activities, play football or, you know, play doing what do. That to him is freedom. Him come out of the confines of the cave, the cell. Him come out of the confines of solitary. So to him now that is freedom, even though there's 4 walls that confine him to that space. And people outside of that space can tell him, so there's more to be experienced outside than there inside of that space. There's more to be experienced outside of the cave than inside of the cave. But as I say, people who sometimes talk that truth about what lies beyond the cave, tend to sometimes become the enemy. Yes, sometimes you become the enemy because you speak that truth, that there's more to be experienced outside of the cave. You know, it's like, wow. So we just pass that on to the people them in the night, yeah. You understand? We just say, experience teacheth wisdom. Experience not teach. Knowledge is one thing, you know, wisdom is the other. Experience is what you actually become a part of in the doing, in the realization of the thing that is happening. You become a part of it. That is experience. Knowledge is when you actually sit and get a perspective of certain things. You know, you don't have to experience knowledge. Knowledge comes through what we call now education. You get a certain education, you become knowledgeable. You know, it's like you're in a laboratory and you do a theory. Outside of the lab, you do theory. And the theory now, you have to go inside of the lab to make it get practical. Get the litmus paper them and test and do all sorts of tests to find what is practical, what can be done and what can be not, that you can do. So people sometimes hold on theory continuously. They have a theoretical understanding of things and find themselves get clawed into it.